The story began not with shrinking fish but with a simple research project. Versteeg had set out to study the dynamics of clownfish breeding pairs in Kimbe Bay, Papua New Guinea. Known for its rich coral reefs and biodiversity, the bay had long been a living laboratory for marine biologists. Versteeg's work involved monitoring the growth, reproduction, and survival of clownfish, the bright orange reef dwellers that live symbiotically with sea anemones. Everything was proceeding as planned until nature took a violent turn. A marine heat wave hit. Water temperatures rose 4 degrees Celsius above their long-term average. An enormous spike in an environment where even half a degree can spell disaster. Corals began to bleach. Oxygen levels dropped. Entire ecosystems wobbled on the edge of collapse. Versteeg and Ruger realized they were witnessing something extraordinary. Instead of abandoning the study, they decided to keep following the same fish through the crisis. "We didn't set out to study a heat wave," Ruger admits. "But when it hit, we knew this was a chance to understand how these animals respond to extreme stress." Measuring the impossible. Studying fish size isn't as simple as catching one, measuring it, and letting it go. To confirm shrinkage, you must track the exact same individuals over time, a nearly impossible task in the open ocean. But clownfish gave the researchers a unique advantage. These fish are homebodies. Each pair establishes itself in a single sea anemone, rarely venturing far from its tentacled protector. That loyalty allowed divers to return again and again to the same individuals. Every month from February to August 2023, the team recorded water temperatures and measured each fish. Divers gently scooped them up with aquarium nets, held them against a measuring board, and used calipers for precision. The process took less than 30 seconds. Then, back into the anemone the fish went, unharmed and unaware of the scientific drama unfolding around them. By the end of the study, hundreds of measurements told a startling tale. 71% of dominant females shrank at least once. 79% of breeding males shrank at least once. 41% of shrinking fish shrank multiple times. And most intriguingly, pairs that shrank together were more likely to survive the heat wave. Why shrink? At first glance, shrinking seems like a disadvantage. A smaller body means fewer reserves, less strength, and reduced reproductive capacity. So why would clownfish do it? One theory is energy management. Growth and body maintenance require enormous metabolic investment. By reducing their size, fish may cut down on energy costs at a time when stress is high and food is less available. Another possibility is related to oxygen. Warmer water holds less oxygen, creating hypoxic conditions that stress marine life. A smaller body requires less oxygen to survive. Shrinking could literally be a life-saving adjustment. It might be a survival strategy, says Ruger. Instead of putting energy into growing larger, they shrink temporarily to ride out the heat wave. The world beneath stress. Marine heat waves are becoming more frequent and severe. Climate change has turned once rare events into regular crises. Coral bleaching, mass fish deaths, and collapses of food webs are now recorded across the globe. For clownfish, the stakes are high. Their survival depends on healthy coral reefs and thriving anemones. Without these habitats, they have nowhere to hide, breed, or feed. The shrinking observed in Kimbe Bay could be a glimpse into how reef fish will cope with the future. It might be a useful adaptation, or it might be a last-ditch effort that cannot save them from repeated or prolonged stress. Beyond the numbers. For Versteeg, the discovery was more than just data. It was an emotional experience. To watch these small, charismatic fish change so drastically before her eyes was unsettling. Imagine spending months diving into the same reef, watching the same fish, recording their lives in intimate detail. You know which female guards her anemone most aggressively, which male hovers near the eggs, which pair has grown closer together. Then, suddenly, you realize their bodies are shrinking. The reef is hotter. The anemones are stressed. The whole ecosystem feels fragile. Science is often painted as detached, but in the water, with a fish darting between her fingers, Versteeg felt the weight of what was happening. A window into the future. What does this mean for the world's oceans? The shrinking clownfish may represent a broader pattern. If more reef species adopt similar strategies, ecosystems could shift dramatically. Smaller bodies could mean less biomass for predators, fewer offspring, and slower recovery after crises. Some scientists worry about ecological cascades, when one change ripples through the food web, altering relationships between species. Predators that rely on larger prey may struggle. Reproductive cycles could be disrupted. Competition between species might intensify. Yet others see hope in the clownfish's flexibility. Adaptability is the currency of survival in a warming world. If shrinking allows fish to persist through extreme events, perhaps reefs will hold on longer than expected. Human connection. Clownfish are more than just reef inhabitants. They are icons. Popularized by films like Finding Nemo, they embody the beauty and fragility of coral ecosystems in the public imagination. Millions of people who have never seen a reef still feel affection for these orange-striped fish. That makes the discovery of shrinking clownfish a powerful story for communicating climate change. It's no longer an abstract rise in global temperature. It's a visible, measurable transformation in a creature people know and care about. People connect with clownfish, Ruger notes. When you tell them these fish are literally shrinking because of heat, it makes the problem real. The work ahead. For Versteeg and her team, the next step is understanding the mechanisms behind the shrinkage. Is it purely metabolic, or are hormonal signals involved? How reversible is the process? Do fish that shrink rebound fully after conditions improve, or is there a long-term cost? More broadly, researchers want to know whether this pattern exists in other species. If clownfish shrink under heat stress, do damselfish, wrasses, or groupers do the same? Are larger fish more or less able to adapt this way? Answering these questions will take years, perhaps decades, but the urgency grows daily as oceans warm. A personal reflection. When asked what it felt like to discover something so startling, Versteeg doesn't immediately talk about the scientific implications. Instead, she describes the reef itself. Kimbe Bay, she says, is breathtaking. Fields of branching coral, clouds of brightly colored fish, sea turtles gliding overhead. Each dive feels like entering another world, vibrant and alive. And yet, during the heat wave, she watched the colors fade. Anemones paled. Corals whitened. Fish seemed sluggish. The reef is beautiful, she reflects, but it's also so fragile. To see the clownfish shrinking was both fascinating and heartbreaking. It shows how much they are struggling to survive. The story of shrinking clownfish is a story of climate change at its most intimate. It is not about distant ice caps or future projections. It is about small fish living their daily lives in partnership with anemones, adapting in real time to survive a world growing hotter than ever before. For humanity, the message is clear. If even the resilient clownfish must shrink to endure, what else will change in the oceans we depend on? How many more hidden adaptations are unfolding unseen beneath the waves? Science will continue to measure, record, and publish. But the reef itself tells a story that transcends data. It whispers of resilience, fragility, and the narrow line between survival and collapse. And at the center of that story, a Ph.D. student with calipers in hand caught a glimpse of the future.